I follow a lot of interesting people on Twitter, not just people I agree with, but also people I disagree with, to see what they're up to, and occasionally, but once in a while, to change my mind on something. I also follow some people who are good at looking at problems from new angles and breaking groupthink. By the way, this pandemic has been awful for groupthink and for deferring to authority, because someone says, I'm a doctor, so we have to believe them when they say we're all going to die if we don't put everyone under house arrest for a year. Anyways, one fellow I follow is Jeff Giese, who I've met a few times. Let me show you a string of comments he made just this morning that I thought were very interesting. He says, perhaps because I like China, my first instinct was to dismiss the hawks for being alarmist. They're just trying to recreate the Cold War or deflect from our own flaws, I thought. The more I follow this, the more they appear right. China is on the offensive. Follow it closely. And then he lists about 10 little proof points. China's on the offensive in Hong Kong. Over the weekend, 15 prominent Hong Kong citizens were put under political arrest for their role in last year's protest movement. China's on the offensive in the South China Sea. They're building military islands, obviously, to press Japan, Taiwan, other regional democracies. China's on the offensive in the information space. That's a fancy way of saying they're everywhere on your phone, on your internet, on the websites and news on Facebook. China's on the offensive in food supply. Now, that's terrifying to me. You'd be shocked how much food in your grocery store comes from China. I'm guessing half the fish you eat is Chinese. Imagine if they got into the beef business or the dairy business. Would you buy raw ground beef or cheese made in China? And would you even know if it was? China's been on a public diplomacy offensive with its face mask diplomacy and medical aid to countries. Exactly, just like Vladimir Putin uses energy. He turns off the taps of the gas pipelines to his enemies. He did that to Ukraine several times. Same with China and face masks. Chinese diplomats and embassies are increasingly engaging in wolf warrior diplomacy, posting accusations, boasts, and name-calling directed at governments and individuals they feel have insulted China. That's so true. It's off the hook. I've never seen such bellicosity from diplomats. They truly sound like they want war. I don't know if that's just to please their masters back in Beijing, or if it's meant to intimidate us, or what the goal exactly is, but it's pretty undiplomatic. And in the meantime, we've never been more pitiful in our own replies. The Chinese version of hybrid 4G warfare, fourth generation warfare, is unrestricted warfare, which involves the full spectrum of the instruments of power. That's what we're seeing. That's the thing, they don't want nuclear war either. So they want asymmetrical warfare. They don't want an attack. And why would they attack us with weapons when they can simply win a Cold War asymmetrically, a war they know they're fighting, but many of us don't know we're fighting, and frankly, a war that many important institutions in North America, well, if they had to choose sides, they choose China's side because they get paid by China. Look at your cell phone companies looking to install Huawei. So I think all this starts by speaking truth to power, by calling out China like Reagan called out Gorbachev. Like this, look at this. Shocked to learn that my longtime friend Martin Lee, founder of the Hong Kong Democratic Party, was arrested today together with many of Hong Kong's most prominent citizens. Martin is the elder statesman of Hong Kong democracy. I hope for his immediate release. I think Alberta's handling of the virus has embarrassed Trudeau, who continues to sulk around the house all day long, while Trudeau's medical equipment, cargo jets, return home empty from China. Did you see that the other day? Kenny has so much health equipment, he's sending his surplus to Quebec. But this tweet by Kenny about Hong Kong will enrage Trudeau the most, because it's the truth that Trudeau can't or won't say. Yeah, good. It's about time. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.